I'm Jim Rutter, and I'm here at Philadelphia's St. Stephen's Theater, where on April 7th, the Lantern will open their production of William Shakespeare's Hamlet. To my left are Lantern Artistic Director Charles McMahon and Philadelphia actor Geoff Sobelle, who will play the role of Hamlet. Charles, under your artistic direction, the Lantern has produced one Shakespeare play each season since 2002. Why produce Hamlet now?
The idea of Shakespeare has always been a driving force for me. I understand everything in theater, I understand everything in life better through by making reference to Shakespeare. It's a touchstone for me for understanding all of drama, all of dramatic literature. I think it's just, there's a sense of when the moment's right for it. I think also the idea of doing it with Geoff was an exciting idea. I mean, I've seen a million productions of it, I've been in a few productions of it, and really was interested in doing something that was very true to the text, but that wasn't necessarily what people had seen before.
I think most of us can agree on the overall structure of Hamlet, where what's obvious is that the fate of one family affects the fate of an entire nation. But what dynamic will your production emphasize more? Will the stakes be more about the family, or more about what happens to the nation of Denmark?
In a sense, there's the famous line, there's something rotten in the state of Denmark, is really, in a lot of ways, a blueprint for the play. So there's a kind of, for lack of a better word, a psychic corruption going on that the rest of these things are almost symptomatic of.
These things really do sort of fit together, and the play, it does involve a change of the social order. I mean, at the end of the play, everybody who was part of the old regime is dead.
Many scholars consider Hamlet to be the first truly modern play and possibly the first existentialist drama. How do you hope that your production can bring out Hamlet's struggle with existence?
I think that's the beauty of this play, is that there's this character who is involved in this corruption. He is implicated himself, and he is the agent of the ultimate destruction. And yet he sees that, and he sees it as a play, and he sees the audience, and he sees it with the audience.
Going back for probably 200-300 years now, this play, every new generation discovers it and goes, oh, this play speaks to us. This is for our generation. We are the first generation that's truly capable of understanding what this play really means. And our parents just had a completely idiotic version. And then the next and the next, and then it keeps changing. There's something in the play that speaks to a radical quality of human thinking. And there's a sense of the futility of action, of certain kinds of action in the play, that has always been true, but it's always been radical. It's always been a kind of a subversive thought.
Well, I think it's clear that he's definitely one of the most interpreted characters in dramatic history. Every major American and European thinker, from Freud and Lacan and Goethe to T.S. Eliot, has tried to interpret and understand the Troubled Prince. But tell me, Geoff, for you in particular, who is Hamlet?
That changed for me quite a bit in the course of things. For a little while, for me, he was Bob Dylan and Kate Blanchett playing Bob Dylan. Then he was very much Withnail from Withnail and I. And ultimately, though, at some point I was realizing, God, I was listening to the music, it's Tom Waits. Tom Waits, that's Bob, that's Hamlet right there. Then I realized, well, he's kind of everywhere. Once you start immersing yourself in this, you look out on the street and you're like, that's Hamlet. Because ultimately, I think it's a state. It's a text. It's not really an outward manifestation. I mean, it's hard to explain. It's not really a person. It's a series of thoughts and impulses and eddies and failures and kind of scrutinies. It's a state of scrutinizing and of both trying to get involved and stay at arm's distance. It's a very strange thing. So ultimately it's kind of I don't know, it's like a place of questioning.
And how strongly do you identify with his diversions, if not hang-ups, into philosophy? Do you think he's someone less than a man of action? Was he entirely a sympathetic character for you? And do you identify with the forces that motivate him?
Very, very much so. Yeah, very much so. Yeah, and it's an incredible brain kind of to be inside of, and to give language to. He'll never just come out and say what should be on the table. It's like we were joking about how in the scene with Gertrude, the famous scene, that really he should just come out and say, you killed my father, or you were, part of this plot. But he doesn't. He says, you killed love. You killed an idea of father. You killed everything else. So it's really brilliant in that way.
So do you then see Hamlet as someone who is still with us?
Yeah, I think Hamlet is in any thinking person. I mean, what's funny is, like even Bill Clinton, it's like a kind of democratic mind, right? That you get derided by the public for being wishy-washy or waffling on issues or things like that, when actually the world is not black and white as you try to make it. I think Hamlet is any thinking person.
And finally, do you think he deserves what happens to him at the end of the play?
Yeah, of course he deserves it. Absolutely. He was justly served. He took on an impossible mission, and he had no choice in the matter, and nor do we all. And we all know that there's a beginning and an end, and we will run our life's course, and if it be now, it will not be to come. The readiness is all. Yeah, he's justly served. This play would stink if he lived.
He says, use every man after his own deserts, and none of us shall escape whipping.
That's right.